This is Scott here from Phoenix Rising, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I am bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Scott Lathwood on the show. He is the vocalist of Phoenix Rising. Going to be talking to him about that. They hail from Dallas, Texas, and they have a new EP called Ignite, which is out now. If you like the sound of Linkin Park and Motionless in White, then this EP is for you. Really good. So, Scott, how's it going, my man?
Hey, man, how you going? Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem whatsoever. Glad to have you on here and talk about Phoenix Rising and this new EP. So, let's jump right into this. Did you ever think you would get in a band that came together through Craigslist by Kent Summerall? I think that's who put this out there, I think.
Yep, and, that's right, yep.
You know, I know Metallica did it through the Recycler back in the day. And that's how Lars met James, but and the rest is history. But did you ever think of any of this coming together through a Craigslist post, man?
Well, I think these days, that's the only way you can really get musicians if you don't know someone personally. There's not a whole lot of kind of musician websites. Like, obviously, I'm from Australia, and back there are websites you can go to find musicians. But over here, it seems to be slim pickings. So I think Craigslist is an awesome outlet. I think people just think it's a seedy website because of the other things that happen on Craigslist.
Yeah, there's some crazy things that's happened on the Craigslist before. That's for sure. So.
But no, we're happy. Yeah, it's crazy the way it's come together. I would say, with six of us, it's extremely lucky that we all got in the same band. That's for sure. Yeah,
and this band really took on a little bit of success, not even being together, 8-9 months, something like that together? That's
right, yeah. Well, we just planned it out really well, I think. Most bands get together and are in a big rush to release things, and we took our time and made sure we released properly. It was tough because, you had 2 years, writing, etc. And then when we recorded the music, everyone wanted to really show it to everyone, all their friends, and so no, we can't do it just yet. So, and there's still a lot of music there to get out there that we can't release just yet.
So the lead single on the EP is called "Do You Know?"
Yeah.
What was it about this song for you guys to say this is going to be the single, and what stood out about it when creating this song?
It showed elements of it summed what we were at best, and putting that song out first was a good fit for us, and it kind of showed people, all right, these are the elements that you're gonna hear on the EP and later on down the road the album. So when writing that, there are a lot of different things in there that come out. So you get a really good idea of who we are as a band by listening to that track first and foremost.
So there is a comic book tied to the track and video, If I Say No. That will be tied with the release of the debut EP Ignite. I want to talk about that a little bit. How did this come together, and who put this together possibly?
The idea came from Kent, because Kent's a big comic book nerd. He's probably going to tell me calling him a nerd, but he has a lot of comic books. He's right into gaming, and he came to me with the idea and said, we should put a comic book together. And it's a big job. I ended up putting it together. I ended up with all the artwork and that was a big job. Credit to him. He had to push me a few times because I was like, man, this job is huge. So it took a long time, but we've sold quite a few of those, more than what I would have thought, because I'm not in that culture of comic books. So I'm like, who's gonna buy a comic book? But it was his idea, and we sell a lot of them at shows and online. So credit to him for coming up with that idea.
What's impressed you the most about making the new EP Ignite? What's caught your eye about, if anything, possibly?
For me personally, I think it's to do this is the first kind of music I've sung for in this genre. Normally, I'm hard rock. Yeah, it's great, the elements that everyone brings. It's like painting with a very broad paint palette, if you will. So nothing's really off limits. as far as ideas are concerned. And I think that's what makes us kind of special. If you want strings, if you want EDM, it's all there. So that's what I love about the EP. And again, there's some great songs down the line that we're all excited to get out there. Real pumped about that.
Who produced this EP for you guys?
Yeah, so it was Tyler Smith. He was in LA, and we had to fly out there to record this. Kent actually had to go down to Lubbock, Texas, and coerce him into recording us. Kent's a real go-getter like that. So he had to basically smuggle himself backstage, and Tyler was down there and let him listen to some of the early demos. First, Tyler was like, no, I don't want to do this. And then when he started listening to the demo tracks, he's like, I really like this. You can come out. So he's recorded Falling in Reverse. Oh, man, there's a whole bunch of other great bands that he's recorded. So he was definitely the right man for the job in this genre. But we kind of knew that, and we kind of scouted him out, knowing what kind of job he could do for us.
Kent went through hell to get backstage, or to go down there to let him listen to these. I thought that was really cool reading on that he just packed up and just left and just went 6 hours to get to San Antonio for that. Crazy.
Yeah, he's good at doing that. Yeah, he won't take no for an answer 99% of the time.
So working with Tyler on this, I mean, it's good to work with a guy who's familiar with what you guys like to do. Does he push you guys, or does he just need to step in when he needs to? Let's talk about that a little bit.
I think any good producer will push you to kind of explore the limits of what you're capable of doing, and he is. I mean, Tyler is a super gifted producer and a songwriter, and that becomes apparently clear when in the first couple of hours working with him. He'll take something and run with it in directions that you're like, all right, that's really cool. I don't think he's ever come up with an idea when I've been president anyway that has been rubbish. It's always been, well, this improves on what we've got, and it's good. I mean, the seed music, the demo music was there, and I know exactly why he wanted to work with us, because he could add to what we had already written, which is fantastic.
Are you guys shocked at all that you're getting ready to receive the Best New Artist and Best Metal Band awards at the MXD Mag Rock and Metal Awards show? Like I said, you guys have caught on some success pretty quick.
Yeah. To be honest, it was quite out of nowhere. We didn't expect it, but yeah, in a way, I think the way that we had released it was to get in front of as many people as we could, as fast as we could. So it has been quite shocking. I mean, I think new artists, I think that we can understand that, but best metal artists, I mean, there's a lot of great metal bands in Texas. So that was quite an honor to get that. And it's an awards. It's an award that's something people have opinions on. So I mean, we're pretty humble when it comes to accepting these kind of things. We understand that. All right, maybe this panel of 10 people like our music more than some of the other bands. And again, we play with some awesome metal bands in Texas.
So how long did it take to record the EP, and why not just do another full length album? I mean, you guys have one out already, but why not just save it to do a full length?
Well, the long story short is we drew a name that's quite common. So there's lots of entities called Phoenix Rising. So iTunes, it was really to do with iTunes. That's why we released this EP. It's because we released some of these songs as singles, and it got lost in the clutter of iTunes. So basically the idea was to release this EP and make it an official EP. So A, people would have an easier time finding it, and B, we could sell something at shows and get music in front of people. But there is definitely a full-length album. The album has been completed, so we are looking forward to releasing that down the pipeline.
I know there's just a couple of songs off this EP, I think like maybe 4 or 5, but are there any off the EP that stand out to you possibly, if any, maybe?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The good thing about this, and then we've approached it this way of releasing each song as a single and putting a video clip behind it. So we're doing things a little bit different. So in my opinion, out of like the 12 or 13 songs that will be going on the album, everyone definitely is capable of being a single. And it's easy for me to say that because I've been involved in these songs, right. But I genuinely think that there's some great songs. Some of my favourite songs aren't even on that EP, and I feel that the band members definitely have their favourite songs as well.
Now, I know you guys have been in different bands and things like that, but how much growth musically have you seen this band and yourself go through from the previous album to the EP to what you guys are working on now? Or has it just been more of a personal growth for all of you guys through all of this?
Yeah, I think there's definitely been a personal growth and a band growth. More so playing live. We have a pretty big stage production as far as live is concerned. We've got lights, we've got risers, we've got tracks. There's so much on stage. So ironing out those kinks is been a challenge in itself. We have triggers with lights coming on, and we've got screens at the front of the stage that are also timed. And it all falls on the drummer because he's got the click track in his ear to make sure everything's on time. So if he's out, the whole show falls apart. But luckily, James knows what he's doing, and that's great. So that's been really the growth for us, is being able to solidify a live show, and we're still working on it. To be honest with you, it seems like something that will never ever stop.
Do you feel like music has kind of hit? Like metal, rock, all of it has hit like a stale part, maybe, like it's kind of just plateaued, or do you still see it growing from every band?
I think I do. I think metal and rock has been driven underground to some degree. I often tell people we have nephews and nieces who are like 10 years old who have never heard rock music unless their parents have shown it to them, because it's definitely not on the radio. Unless I guess if you're listening to local stations who play, I know in Dallas there's the Eagle, but they play AC/DC and Metallica 24 hours a day, which is great. But I tend to think when the youth kind of get to the point where they're sick of pop music, I think they're going to start to rebel and look for something different. And I tend to think that's when the kind of revival will happen. Music's fashion at the end of the day, and it's when it's pushed out there, people will like it. So I tend to agree with you. It is stale to some degree, but this genre of music is not. I think rock has gone a bit more stale. The show people that come out to these shows, they're very loyal. We go see Memphis May Fire and the crowd's full. We see Motionless in White, the crowd's full. Swing in Reverse, the crowd's full. So I don't think this style of music has always been underground to some degree, but in my opinion, they have the most loyal fan base.
I'm 38 years old, and it's sad when I listen to a rock station and they classify Metallica's The Black Album as classic rock, and I'm going, what?
It's a sign, isn't it?
It's like, I'm not ready for this. No.
No, that's it. It'll be classic soon, don't you worry.
Oh, my God. I'm like, it's not classic. It just came out yesterday. Damn it. Do you do anything differently during the writing and recording process to help keep your mind fresh and open to not let the music get stale or not go down a path you don't want to go back down again? Do you do anything differently to help you out?
No. I think having no limits, the worst thing you can do as a musician is, I feel, is pigeonhole yourself or write to a specific style. I think when you start, discovering new ways of writing or things that you think may not be suitable for the band, may end up being that way. I mean, that's a good thing about Tyler. It's like he'll take an idea and he'll kind of mold it around the band. So no, I think that'd be restrictive to some degree. Just stay open, and that's pretty much what I've got to say about that.
What can fans expect at a show from Phoenix Rising who have not got to see you guys live as of yet?
Man, a lot of energy, that's for sure. A cool stage production. As I was saying in some of the past questions, we've gone out of our way to make ourselves different as far as a show aspect's concerned. We know a lot of great bands, but they rely solely on the music. And we want to kind of give an experience, whether it be lights, and really bring like an arena light show to a local level to some degree. And that's what we do to separate ourselves. And I tell you what, when most bands spend about an hour loading this stuff and then going to a show, ours is a full day. That's how much stuff we've got. And the fans and friends really, really appreciate that and what we've gone to make that happen. It's really giving them an experience more so than the music. It's giving them the whole package.
Do you like the digital era that we're living in right now to, of recording albums to get music out quicker, and plus social media to reach out to more fans and people that have not got to hear a Phoenix Rising as of yet? Do you like this?
No, not really. I mean, it's a double-edged sword. I liked iTunes, and then they started to bring in this, Apple Music and the Spotify and Pandora, which is great for a consumer, but it's horrible for an artist because, we're not getting any kind of kickback monetary for that. I mean, if it is, it's small. I mean, you have to be selling millions of albums to even get something on that. So I'm not a huge fan of it. Sure, people will say it's a great way to get your music out there, but it also saturates the market to a degree where you can't get through. And sure, you can say the cream will rise to the top, but you still need to be heard, and that's why we put so much emphasis on, interviews like yourself and getting our things and magazines and online interviews. But as far as selling music is concerned, no, I don't know what's going to change or how it's going to get better. But I think bands are just going to taper off slowly if nothing gets fixed about it.
Man, coming from Australia, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark for you that said, yeah, that's what I want to do?
Oh, well, ever since I was 3 years old, I was listening to Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. I remember the day. I was about 3, and I had my ear to the speaker. I'm thinking, man, this is awesome. This is what I want to do when I grow up. Mm-hmm. So from there, my previous band, we had a really good following in Australia, and back in our town. But it got to the point where there was really no industry to support it. So that's when I made the decision to come over here. I mean, I know the industry's suffering over here as well, but at least there are still labels that sign bands, and there are plenty of outlets to try and get your music out there. I think Australia's really kind of gone stale as far as trying to get yourself further than playing packed out shows every week. There's no ground beyond that, I feel, anyway.
Absolutely love Midnight Oil from Australia. Love that band.
Oh, yeah.
And,
they're a classic.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with Midnight Oil. I don't care what anybody says.
Right. Well, he's gone into politics now, isn't he? He's
I think so. I believe so.
He has.
And of course, Silverchair. That's one of my favorite ones.
Man, I love Silverchair. They are such a huge influence on me growing up. I can't tell you. I mean, out of the top 2 influences, Silverchair. Daniel Johns is amazing. He's a prodigy in my eyes.
Frog Stomp was awesome. Freak Show was awesome.
Yep.
And then it just seemed like after those 2 albums, it kind of just went. He went to some other place. I don't know.
Some would say a happier place.
Yeah, they did go heavier. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, well, I think, I don't know if you know, but I mean that whole Frog Stomp album, that was to do with, they were trying to kind of follow up on Nirvana, weren't they? So they were trying to capitalize on that. I believe they call them Nirvana in pajamas over here, didn't they?
I don't know. That's something I don't know.
That's what I've been told.
I do know that they are supposed to be coming back out with some new stuff. That's what I've been hearing. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's what I've been hearing. So
wow, that'd be amazing.
Let's hope, man.
Sure.
Let's hope.
And I heard a good story about Daniel Johns, and you mentioned when they went to some other place. He had his 3rd album recorded in that same vein as the first 2 albums, but he deleted it. He made the decision one night just to say, all right, I'm done with this kind of style of music or this genre or hole I'm in. He just deleted the whole thing. He said that was the hardest thing he's had to do in his life. Wow. Which is very cool. And then that goes back to what we were saying about not trying to pigeonhole yourself, but be open to everything. Yeah.
It's true. And I like Silverchair for doing that.
Yeah.
They did not just stay one focus of one certain type of style of music. They did branch out for sure. But
for sure.
Are there any?
I love. Yeah, it's awesome.
Is there a show or a moment that stands out for you being part of Phoenix Rising that you can say, man, this is well worth every minute that we spent trying to do this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first show we played was definitely it, because there was so many components that had to come together. And I mean, more specifically, it was a show we played at the Curtain Club here in Dallas with a band called Mad Mexicans. And we spent so long in trying to get everything together. When it came together, and you got to understand, when you've got this much stuff on stage, so much can go wrong. And it was just the relief of everything working in the way it should. And it was magic. So many components, separate components just came together. So yeah, that would be it. And the great thing was, fans would come up afterwards of other bands and say, "Oh, well, you guys are great." It's like, that's our first show. And they're like, wow, they're blown away. So, wow. And we still get that because, we've only really played, 7 or 8 shows in Dallas, and people are like, wow, you guys are amazing for how many shows you played. So that first one, definitely, just because of the anticipation and the lead up.
Yeah, I want people to understand this that's listening to the interview right now, that this band has not been around very long. You don't understand how much effort that this band has put into what they've done in less than a year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And they busted their ass off, and they're getting success from this, and it's pretty cool. Support wise, is there a country that stands out more to you or surprises you that you guys get support from possibly?
I would say Brazil. Down there, and I only say this because I know where the views and the sales are coming from. Surprisingly, down there. But then I've been told by some DJs that this music is very popular down there. So that would probably be it. Germany is also another one that stands out. Yeah, those are probably the main two ones that we're like, wow, it's great. And there's some from Russia as well, but I don't know. You never trust those Russians. I'm just joking.
Oh, that's funny. But if you're getting accolades from Brazil, to me, that sticks out a lot, because that place is metal to the core.
Yeah, I've been told that. I didn't know that until kind of we were getting hits from down there. I thought, wow.
Yeah, to me, Brazil is the top metal location that you could get accolades from in my book, because they eat, breathe, sleep metal music in Brazil.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. No, I'd love to get down there. That's for sure.
Folks, you want to get out, check out Phoenix Rising. Like I said, they have made a huge impact in the short time that they've been together. Their new EP, Ignite, is out right now. Get out and pick that up. Like I said, if you like the Linkin Park sound, Motionless in White sound, they hit the nail on the head. So please check them out. Scott, my friend, how can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy this EP, merchandise, tour dates, tickets. How can they do that?
Yeah, mate. Everything's available via the website. It's www.phoenixrisingofficial.com, and you can see all the dates. It'll have all our social media links. We've got all the social media as per usual, YouTube subscriptions as well, all that good stuff. So if any band has it, we've got it.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
Sure. This is Scott here from Phoenix Rising, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.